How y'all doing?
I don't know what is wrong with her. Here, what y'all want?
Do what now? What I gotta do?
Make sure it's on this. In the pad.
What?
You said the bottom part. Make sure you get the bottom part too.
Oh.
Hello, Mr. Nathan. Okay, so I'll be talking to you guys today about the death penalty, also known as demise sentence.
Okay.
What is capital punishment? Any guesses? What is capital punishment?
Electric chair.
Yeah, let me finish.
Alright, so capital punishment is the legally authorized killing of someone as a punishment of a crime. So you do a bad crime, it's like really severe, you get the death penalty for it. And that's just a picture of an electric chair, one of the forms of the death penalty. And the death penalty originated in British colonial time period. The first man to ever be executed was a Jamestown councilman, George Kendall, by a firing squad. And so like he would literally like just stand there and like just be shot at, basically. A firing squad. So let's see. Alright, and then over the years they came up with new forms of the death penalty that was produced, and some of the forms, okay, and these are just different forms of the death penalty. Oh wait, hold on. You have the hanging, you have the electric chair, obviously. You have cyanide gas. They'll just throw like gas, and then by you inhaling it, it makes you, it kills you. And then you have lethal injection, and where they insert, it's like two medicines they have at first. They have a medicine to like numb the person's body, and then the lethal injection goes in them, so they don't feel anything. They're not hurting or anything like that. It's kind of like it's peaceful. And then there's the firing squad. So they just stand against the wall, and then they just get shot at. All right, so let's move on to talking about how the death penalty involves ethics, reparation, and the difference between the death penalty and spending life in prison, and how one is more expensive than the other. So first we're talking about morality. Many U.S. citizens say that it is unethical to take a life by using the death penalty. All states that utilize the death penalty uses the lethal injection, except for Texas. Texas, they use the electric chair. And then, let's see, and as stated earlier, when they use the lethal injection, inmates are first they're given an anesthetic, and then after that anesthetic, they get the injection so they don't feel anything, and then they don't physically suffer. And so since they don't physically suffer, they say it's the most the most humane and the safest way possible to carry out the demonstration. And then also the 8th Amendment of the United States averts cruel and unusual punishment, so they try to make it as humane as possible. And studies show that minorities that are in poverty are more prone to the death penalty because they're impoverished and like they really don't have any guidance, and so they just avert the crime and then the death penalty. So that's morality. And then it's just a little cartoon. It says, "But you can't do this. Life is sacred." Exactly. A little dark humor there. And then next we'll talk about retribution. Retribution, many people confuse this with revenge. Vengeance signifies inflicting harm on an offender out of anger because of what they've done. Retribution is the rationality supported theory that the criminal deserves a punishment fitting for the gravity of their crime. See, and then there's also a story that I read online. Robert Macy, district attorney of Oklahoma City, described his concept of the need for retribution in one case. So in 1991, a young mother was rendered helplessly and was made to watch her baby executed. And then the mother was then mutilated and killed. And then the killer, he said the killer should not, quote unquote, should not lie in some prison with 3 meals a day, clean sheets, cable TV, and family visits, and endless appeals. For justice to prevail, some killers just need to die. Quote. And then many see this as an act of revenge, but retribution is not stimulated by vindictiveness. Rather, it is motivated by the demand for justice and the theory of lex talionis, which means eye for an eye. So he thinks like if you kill someone, your life should be taken as well. And so retribution is not stimulated by vindictiveness, and then that's just a little eye for an eye.
What are you doing, Ron?
And then okay, so the death penalty versus life in prison. The death penalty is cheaper, obviously, because capital punishment kills a man at once. Lifelong imprisonment kills him slowly because he has to sit there and think about what he did, live with his conscience. And then the death penalty is just quick and easy. And so, alright, when a person spends their life in prison, they have years upon to sit and live with their decision. They subsist with the guilt and agony of their actions year after year and regret pain. And pain eating away in their insides. In order to be sentenced to death, a person must commit a severe crime, for example, murder, of course. And then the differences between the death penalty and life in prison are discrete and have divergent ramifications. And so, the average inmate spends about 9 years on death row, costing the state significant amounts of currency. On average, it costs $3 million for a life without parole inmate. But this cost is from $60,000 a year for the cell for 6 years to $1.5 million for the trial. And that's just like a picture showing the difference between life in prison and death penalty. And so, in closing, some people think the death penalty is a merit to society. Capital punishment can be a very controversial topic to tackle because people tend to have their utmost perspectives on it, of their opinions. And so, yeah, that's about it for the death penalty.
Which button?
My turn.
This.